Can you see me? Welcome back to the channel, Home on the Hedge. Glad to have you here. We are about to be snowed in again. We swore we weren't ever going to let that happen again after it did last year. Almost a year to the day, just west of Knoxville. And we got snowed in for 4 or 5 days in the RV. Not a lot of fun, but we did survive it, and we're going to survive this. So what better time to give you guys a list of tips and tricks that we've learned on how to survive cold weather. And if you find yourself in snow, we got some stuff set up over here. And I got some propane tanks, heat tapes, all kinds of other things we're going to talk about. So stick around with us on Home on the Hedge. Give us a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, so whether or not RV camping in frigid temperatures, ice and snow is in your cards or not for the coming year, never hurts to have the information on hand just in case you find yourself in that situation. So we're gonna give you these tips and tricks that we've learned over the past couple of years where we have been trapped in a snowstorm and ice, and what has gotten us through, and hopefully it'll help you guys too. So number one, the most important tip that we can give you about surviving the frigid cold temperatures in your RV, whether it's 4-season or not, is to avoid it at all costs. If you've got wheels on your RV and you've got a tow vehicle and you don't have to be where you are, go somewhere else. Go to Florida, go to South Texas, go to the desert, anywhere but somewhere where it's going to be snowing. Now, if you're a contractor worker like I am, don't really have much of a choice. I'm here for 3 months and you might have to deal with this, but if you don't, the most important thing is to be somewhere else other than where the snow is. All right, so one thing that you might want to do if you've got a small inside dog is, we put a tarp out last night, so if you got an inside dog that's needs grass to go to the bathroom on, well, guess what? If it snows and you don't have any, then you've got problems. I'll put a little tarp out. Make a little area for the dog to go to the bathroom. Okay, come here. Come here. Say hello. There. Now, you have grass. Oh yeah. If you got an inside dog that needs grass to go potty on, make sure you got some grass. That's tip number 2. All right, so if you do happen to find yourself in this situation right here, we're going to move on. You're going to need to insulate your RV as best you can in every point that you can. Now, the best thing that you can do for yourself, if you're going to be somewhere for a little while, so we're going to look across the street. They've got skirting around their RV. And that's going to save you so much energy, so much propane usage by trapping that heat underneath the RV and not letting the wind, the cold wind, just blow all the way through. It's going to keep your floors warmer. It's going to be able to keep your pipes and the heat that your furnace produces. It's going to work so much more efficiently to keep everything warm and unfrozen if you have some type of skirting around your RV. As you can see, we don't, and that really ups our propane usage. All right, so there's a lot of other ways to insulate your RV. So on the inside, we tend to use rugs. We put big area rugs down wherever we can and runners in the hall, and that helps keep the floor at least off of our feet. It helps keep it a little bit warmer and helps keep some of the cold from seeping through. Now, our floors are fairly insulated and do pretty well, but having good area rugs pretty much across everything makes a big difference. As well, Melissa puts up these this fabric, basically she just bought from the fabric store. If you've got giant gaps at the top of your slide outs like we do, then your slide outs are gonna have drafts.
So we stuff these in the top of those gaps and try to take up the draft area there, and it helps a good deal. Just make sure that you put up a note along your slide buttons, and you don't try to operate your slides with those up there, because you could cause a catastrophe. Ask me how I know. Now, another thing that we do that makes a huge difference is usually every fall when it's approaching wintertime, Melissa will grab one of these plastic window film kits and install it on pretty much every window in the RV, even the giant ones. Basically, you put double-sided tape around the edge of the window, you trim a piece of plastic to fit, stick it on there, and then you basically shrink wrap heat it with the hair dryer. It becomes really tight, and basically it creates a double pane window for you in your RV. As well, we use pretty heavy curtains and some roller shades. All of those add layers to protecting from the cold air coming in and the heat going out. But the plastic window film kits, highly recommend those. It makes a huge difference between not having it on there, I guarantee you. A big tip is these things are super expensive at the RV store. But I think Mel found these at Hobby Lobby, I believe. And it's just a polyfoam 2-inch 14 by 14, and it fits right up in there. And how much was it? $7.99. $7.99. And I don't know how much they are at the RV store, but they are a lot more than $7.99. So we've got one of those here and in the bathroom, and if we need to use that fan, we'll pull that out and use it and then stick it back up there. But yeah, go to Hobby Lobby and check those out. Look at this crap. So, wow, this is our outside temperature monitor right there. And we'll talk more about that. Look at those icicles all over everything. All right, so something that's going to be important to you in this situation is going to be propane. So that seems like an obvious thing, but propane usage goes up, especially, like I said, if you do not have skirting underneath your RV. So you're going to make sure that you have a good source for your propane and you have enough on hand. Your propane furnace will keep you warm, but it's going to be a lot less efficient as the temperature drops, and it's going to use a lot more propane. So you just got to keep that in mind and make sure you've got enough to get yourself through what's going on. And don't be like me. Our top of our propane cover here is gone. I should have covered that up with a tarp or something. You really don't want ice sitting on the top of your propane tanks. That just makes it worse, and I didn't do that in time, so that's what I'm stuck with. I should have covered those tanks up there as well, but I didn't. So do as I say, not as I do. I have to kind of chip that ice off of there before we need to use those. All right, so next we're going to talk about your water supply, basically, and you're going to have a heated hose of some sort. Now I'll put up a card maybe for where I built our heated hose and made it out of components you can order off of Amazon. Works really well, a lot cheaper than buying one in an RV store. So check that video out. And you're going to need some heat tape. So we've got this one heat tape right here that actually is in this cover for our hose here. And then I have a second one is right here. It's inside this and is keeping that faucet from freezing, because this is not a frost proof pedestal, but we've been down to about 15 degrees so far and have not had a problem. The lowest we've ever gotten down to in our RV is about -3. We did freeze up there in the bathroom with that, but this setup works very well for us. What I'll recommend is that you keep your valves closed until it's time to dump, because you don't want stuff freezing in the lines on the outside. And also, you need to make sure that you have a downward fall from your discharge all the way to your sewer outlet here at the park, so you don't have water standing in this pipe, because it will not take very long for water to freeze in that. So we've got a 2x6 underneath that with some blocks, and it creates a nice slope for everything to go downhill, so we don't have any standing water in there, because that thing will freeze solid very quickly. Another thing you can do, actually, if it's going to snow and ice, didn't really think about this one as a tip, but Melissa will throw a towel over the stairs, kind of like we talked about with the tarp for the dog. But she'll throw a towel over the stairs, so in the morning when you get up, and this thing's probably still frozen solid, you can just pull that off, and you don't have ice, sleet, and snow on your stairs, and you don't fall and kill yourself trying to go outside. So that's a good tip. Good tip to have a little furry animal with you in bed at night. She keeps us warm, or we keep her warm, I'm not sure. So you want some type of situation where you can monitor your temperatures. This is what we use. It's a 4 sensor system. This is the inside temperature. This is the exterior temperature. It's 33 degrees outside. This 40 degree temperature is what the temperature is in our water bay right now. And the 51 is in our battery bay, because I don't want those batteries freezing. So this just allows me to keep track of what's going on and see where we're at versus the inside versus the outside. So another thing that's really important for you to know about your RV is how cold you can get before you actually need to start relying on your propane furnace, because as I said before, when it gets super cold, that's going to work very well, but it's going to become less and less efficient, and it's going to use a lot of propane. So we can get down to about 28, 29 degrees and pretty much rely off of our fireplace out here in the RV, right down there. Love that thing. And we've got a small space heater in the bedroom that keeps us nice and toasty at night. Now, once we fall below that like 29 degree mark, we really kind of got to crank the furnace itself up so we can get the heat in the underbelly to keep everything nice and warm and from freezing. So that's something that you need to know, to what temperature can you actually go before you need to start relying on your propane furnace. So this is obviously, guys, not an all-inclusive list of everything that you can do to make your stay easier in some like frigid temperatures, even ice and snow like we had over the past few days. But these tips and tricks that we've talked about today will help you get started, maybe prevent a little heartache and make things easier on you. If you can think of anything that we left out, please put it in the comments so we can share it with everybody. And as always, guys, thank you so much for being here and supporting us. We love you all. Until next time, guys, take care of each other, love each other, make every moment count. We'll see you next time.